Hello everyone, the Honest Collector here to give you the truth on the DC Amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech Deathstroke from Kyoto. And yes, this is another import figure because I want to do my DC 6-inch collection, and these are the only figures on the market right now, really, aside from like a few customs, which I'll get onto later, which actually had some questions about this, so that's pretty interesting. I will do a separate video on this. But to go over this figure here, there's actually a lot to talk about, so I'm sorry in advance if this video is super long. But let's get right into the packaging. I'm not the biggest fan of this super dry looking, very normal box with the gray and the sleek design of the packaging, and there's like no real artwork, just photography. And not that there was artwork before, but like there was a lot more poses, a lot more personality to it. This one just kind of lacks that. It has Deathstroke right here. It looks more neat, but like I feel like it's like because it's all this neat and just gray that it looks more mature. And I don't know, it doesn't give a good consensus. But anyways, you get the stuff here. You see right here, he takes off the mask, unmasked head, which looks way better in the image. And on the back, you see all the poses that you can get him into, which is really cool, really nice to see. Definitely a good sign. You get all the accessories right there, so that's pretty awesome. And yeah, so let's just jump right into it because there's a lot to talk about with this guy. Okay, so this figure costs flat $100. Okay, not like any more. It's just $99.99. Okay, now this does come with a lot of stuff and still carries the quality. So actually, I forgot an accessory here. I'm just gonna drop it right there. So this is everything that this guy comes with. We're just gonna go over it. The sheaths here are connected by like these pieces here. You kind of have to do like a small amount of assembly, and then this little peg and joint system right here, so you can adjust. Oh, I'm not even showing the camera. You can adjust how you want it to be put in the back, which I'll show you later once I actually attach it. I'm going to be going over everything here because when it comes to Revoltech figures, they do have to be explained a lot more in articulation to really know the feel of it, because it's really not like your typical import, even like SHF or Mafex. We have this huge steel looking sheath here to put these, or this one golden sword. He does come with two, and the sheath is only one, but I don't really know how it would have worked. Maybe if it was a little bigger and you can stack them in here like that, that would have been really cool. But this looks really nice paint here, and you do get another peg and ball system here, so that's really nice to see. And then we do get two. I don't know what specific sword this is. I don't want to. Maybe katana, probably not a ninjato. I don't know, but it looks really good. The silver paint is great, and as well as the gold on the bottom here. It looks really nice. It looks like a copperish color kind of, but that looks really good. And then, like I said, you do get two of them. You get a staff right here, which is really nice. It's a simple, sturdy kind of plastic with a little bit of bend to it, but obviously don't do that though. Could break, but yeah. So not if you're just using it regularly. So this staff looks nice, good paint work, it's okay. And then we get a pistol here, which is good, but no hole for fire effects or blast effects. And because of that, I will be showing what this looks like in his hand if you do want to add the muzzle flash. So that's unfortunate. You can't really do that. I don't know if they have their own muzzle flash effect with like an accessory pack. I'm not that deep into Revoltech yet, so I don't really know. This one as well is not going to have a hole for the muzzle flash here, but we do have this rifle, which looks really good. Nothing can come apart or detach. It's just all one piece, which it's okay. Some paint work would have been nice, but it's okay for what it is. And then we do get a little knife that goes into one of the little sheaths on his leg there, so that's really nice. And then we do get two of these grenades with this peg, because these gripping hands here, or not really gripping hands, but open palm or throwing hands do have a hole, so that way you can put them in like that, which is really nicely. It's a very nice tight fit. and very smooth as well. I never felt like I was going to break it or anything, which is great. And then these two pieces, I will show you how these work with the Deathstroke figure, because it's not like, when you look at it face value, like I did have to take a look at the little instruction packlet that they do provide, which is really nice, but I'll definitely show you and go over everything. And then we do have this unmasked head sculpt, which looks really good. Not bad. He is looking off a little to the side, which is unfortunate. But I like how that eye is glossy, and the skin is a little too orange or like yellowy for my liking. Maybe I can get a little more light down on here. So yeah, not the best. I don't know why the hair is also metallic. That doesn't really, man, wow. That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, but it looks okay for what it is. It's definitely not bad. The back of the hair definitely comes down a lot, so that way it can look very like nice. There's no gapping or anything like that, but you'll see it does still look a little odd with the neck being a little too long. So I don't know. I don't think I showed these. We got these really nice golden swords here, and you attach the flames onto them just like this. You're going to follow the shape, and it's actually really, really simple. You just slide it on like that, and there's going to be this little piece here where that actually slides through. So it's not going to just come undone anytime you try and pose it. But this does have its own little set of issues, which I will be describing later. And then he comes with 2 punching hands here and 2 trigger hands out of the package. No dedicated gripping hands, which I don't know why Revoltech does that. They did that with their Harley Quinn figure as well. And with that one, it was a little more irritating, especially because they put her trigger finger hands on an angle. So yeah, but these are all the accessories here. So I'm just going to move this to the side. We do also get the figure stand here, which is nice to see. I do like this a lot. I think it definitely clamps onto the more skinnier, leaner figures, and it does help a lot. You can also just take this out because the figure does, of course, have a hole on the back, so you could just put it on like that if you don't want to see the waist clamp, or it's just not needed for the certain pose that you're doing. And obviously I'll show off how this can work better later, but there he is. So let's take a look at the figure itself. I think I should show how the accessories work first. So that's what I'm going to do. You can already see you can move a lot of stuff out of the way. So we're going to get onto the, I want to say katanas, but we're going to get onto the blades here. So you can see they're angled down like this. So you just slide them through like that. They do have a lot of openings, which can sometimes make it a little difficult, because they do also have a little piece that does keep them in place. But I don't know why they do that. I don't know why it's not just all black. I feel like it should be. So yeah, there's no detail to really the plastic. It's just kind of black gloss. So this is going to peg in right into there. It's a nice fit. And if this is too low, then you're just going to bring that up, and it's going to fit right into that little ball right there, which looks like the straps connect to it. So that's really nice. And then now you can swivel it however you want, if you want it more this way for some reason, or if you're doing any angle posing, or even if you put the figure down, the katanas, the sheaths are just going to fit to however you put it down, so there's no worries about it breaking off or snapping off or anything related to that, so that's really nice. Obviously, the only thing is it's not going to move side to side, so if you do that, it's just going to turn this way. So that's really nice to see. I don't know if that was the intent, but it definitely does work. And then, so let's just take this out here, and let's try this one. Same situation, because it's the same ball system. You're just going to want to push that in right there, and it's just going to work. This, to me, in my opinion, just sticks out a little too much. That's one thing I don't really like with some designs for like sheaths or holsters, and it's when they stick out like this, especially for such a big sword. It does have a really nice fit. Like, that is not coming out. So that is really great, but again, it's just a little too far for my liking. Of course, from the front, it's going to look okay, but, So that's that. It's still good. I don't really know what else they could have done. I wasn't really expecting anything else, like even with this price point. Next is the bow staff. You're just going to plug this little Lego hand piece right here, and then the bow staff fits very nicely. Not a hard snap or anything, and very easy to remove, but it's also, again, not going to fall out at all. So there's no point in really shaking it, but trust me, it's not going to come out super easily just whenever you don't want it to. I don't see putting it down as being a problem either. It's just going to kind of do its thing. So this looks really good. I don't think the staff is long enough, but I do just prefer like with when it comes to characters with staffs, kind of a little more exaggeration here. But yeah, so this is really nice. You definitely don't have to slide it out like I just did. I don't know why I did that. I don't know if this is going to get more loose over time, but it is definitely a nice bit to add. And then for the gun, for the rifle, this piece here is going to go through the trigger hole right there. And you're going to match it up just like that. And that is going to be what pegs onto the back. And if you do it properly, I believe, is it supposed to be this way? Yeah, this way. It's a nice fit, very close to the back, very nice looking, very, very cool. Let's just move this tassel piece to this side. Very, very cool looking. I do like that a lot. So you're just going to pop that back out. And that's how you're able to store some of these things. I actually, just for the fun of it, don't think you can store this grenade. No, but he has two right there. So that is going to be how you're storing these guns. I actually have not tried if it also works for the pistol. I doubt it because there's one right here that you just slide in like that. Should we try it? I don't know. I guess that's the fun of it. Nope, definitely not going to fit. But yeah, so it's right here. So I do like that you can store that. And then yeah, the detail of the figure itself looks very, very nice. I'm trying to see if there's any other accessories. This is going to go right in here. So that's nice. It's a firm enough fit. But yeah, so taking a look at the detail, a very metallic blue, very, very, very nice looking. I love that they do this with their figures. It looks so cool working off of the light. I do think, however, that the orange is too kind of cheap looking for a $100 figure. It is just kind of orange plastic. Nothing's really painted. There's no detail work added to any of the orange at all. No like scrapes or wear and tear or whatever like that anywhere. So that's just kind of not very great. It does look a little on the cheap side, but mostly because what you're seeing is the metallic gloss, the exaggerated proportions, the exaggerated everything. It is very nice to look at. So I don't know if I want to jump right into articulation, but I think the design, the aesthetic, and articulation is kind of molded into one when it comes to this because you'll see. Looking at the head, looking up, that's great amount. That's wonderful. It's working by two different pieces. So if you're going to pull this off, you're also going to pull this little neck piece off with the tassel here. And then you're going to have this on top of it, which this scarf like tassel piece definitely does help hide it, but the neck looks a little long. It looks a little weird. It looks like an afterthought. And then you're not really going to get any range because of how far this goes down. Maybe some side to side tilting. But yeah, so the neck, how it works is there's actually a peg and a hinge that's in this back shell piece, and there's a hole in there, and that's what's going to give you your up and down, but it's also swiveling because it's a ball hinge, so you're going to get the side to side, which is great, and then you get a nice dumbbell joint at the top, so that's cool, and just putting this back together is very simple. You just put the neck piece back, and then the head back on. Why is this not working? Now it wants to not work because it's on camera. There we go. I was going to say it's relatively easy. So yeah, that's nice. And then now looking at, like I said, this moves around. It's not on a ball hinge, but it is just swiveling. This is on a ball hinge, so you can swivel it this way. You can put it down as if it's relaxed, windswept, any direction you want. So that's really nice to see. It gets out of your way very nicely. And then the arms, if we're going to flip this up, these shoulder pads are on a ball joint here, and so that's nice that it's going to get out of your way. And the shoulders actually lowered is what makes this figure look normal, because the shoulder pads are placed where he looks like he still has big shoulders, which is really nice. So the arms are going to move up this high, trying to utilize all the joints here, but trying to figure out what's technically the arm joint and what isn't. So they're outright, they're going to move up this high here, so it's not bad. You can also just get some adjustment posing here with these little chest flaps here, which this looks ridiculous, but like in certain angles and poses, you won't really see it. But yeah, so you can adjust and kind of maneuver your way around how you want this figure to be posed, where you want his arm and stuff. There's not going to be any bicep swivel because it's all going to come from the elbow, which definitely feels awkward. You can get this guy into amazing poses, and the arms kind of work however you want them to, but it does feel awkward, so you do have to get around it. The torso, while technically being very dynamic and good, like there's absolutely no gapping, and that's wonderful, wonderful. And then when you're going to crunch this guy down, still barely any gappage at all here. This is amazing. And then of course you're going to get your regular side to side lean, which is perfect. You're going to get everything to kind of move out of your way if you want. These little belt pieces are also on ball hinges. So yeah, but the torso is a little, like, this figure's kind of wobbly. The arm, it is a little loose and kind of floppy, which I don't really like, and a little bit with the bottom torso joint. So that's not the best. He can't twist at the top. He can only twist at the bottom, which is a problem that a lot of figures are having, where they only twist in one of the torsos, which I don't understand and I don't like, because it could be both. So yeah, he's going to twist at the bottom here, which is good. It's a twist. It just feels very rigid, and you don't want to have this figure be super loose. And it's like the more you try and twist it, the more you're going to stretch stuff and make it super floppy. So that is something you want to avoid. Moving these little belt pieces out of the way, this leg kicks up this far, and then with this crunch, it looks great. But you sometimes won't be able to get the leg back up if the torso is still crunched. And sometimes you'll have to reposition it. There's so much repositioning with Revoltech figures. So just you want to make sure everything's together again, so that way it's not super just out of control on you. Then you do get a designated thigh cut, but you're also going to get the thigh swivel inside, which is interesting. This one moves more with the thigh cut, but you do still get that inner piece there, which is good in my opinion. Kicking out, doing splits is really bad. Like, really bad. For Deathstroke to do like more either kicking poses or landing poses, that's not very good at all. So I'm just going to put this back here. And then with the knees, again, single joints, very nice range. Then this looks ugly, so you're just going to want to cover that up by the articulated knee pads here, which are on a ball and a hinge. So you can cover that up decently. Not bad. They are at an angle, so if they don't go back up the way you want, it's because you'll be able to see that they're not lined up properly right here. So you're just going to have to put that here and then realize, yep, the leg, the cuts match and everything like that. This leg, I'm definitely having a harder time doing it with. Getting it back into that perfect straight position, but it can be done, and it's not the most difficult thing in the world. Kicking back is going to be that far, which isn't bad. Just got to make sure, again, everything's lined up correctly, or else it'll be all over the place on you. So, yeah, I feel like, have I missed anything? I don't think so. The rotation of the arm is like that. That's going to be good. How high you can bring this guy's arm is going to be like up to there. Again, you're just going to have to maneuver around these joints and figure out what works best for what pose you're trying to do. And that's kind of the puzzle of Revoltech figures. But yeah, so then he has this cut right here for the boot, and then but you're also going to get your knee swivel right here. So you're having a thigh swivel, thigh cut, knee swivel, and a boot cut, which is great in practice and in theory, but you also need your figure to be able to kick out, to utilize all of these different joints to its ability. So the ankle is going to go down really far because it's on a ball hinge. So there's lots of room for this ankle to make space to do stuff like this. Or if you want to bring it in a little closer, you can do stuff like that. And then this actually doesn't articulate. This is just a very thin piece of plastic holding this, which do be careful with. I don't know if you could see that there. But the ankle moves this far up, which is good. I have not had any trouble with the ankles at all. They've been doing exactly what I want them to do. Every time you are going to have your ankle pivot here as well. And then you are going to have your toe articulation, which is properly ridged right there. So that way when you do stand it, even if it gets loose here, it's not gonna fall over or anything like that. And slightly downward like that. I don't know how quick that will that sturdiness will go during time, but it is there and it's appreciated. And when buying an import figure that's around like I would even say up to like $60 price point, scaling is always going to be a major thing to go over and consider. So here he is next to my Mafex Nightfall Black and Gray Batman, and here he stands next to my Mafex Dark Knight Returns Superman. Here he stands next to the SH Figure Arts The Flash movie Flash figure and my custom Wonder Woman from the Marvel Legends Power Princess figure. For random crossover stuff, here he stands next to the Marvel Legends Daredevil Born Again Daredevil, and here he also stands next to the Kyoto Amazing Yamaguchi Isekai version Harley Quinn. And I'd be a fool if I didn't do it. Here he stands next to the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie Sonic figure. And doing what I said I was going to do before, here he stands. Here he is with the Marvel Legends Daredevil Born Again Punisher pistol with the muzzle flash here, or also from the new Punisher One Last Kill figure. So if you do have a Marvel Legends pistol, it can fit in his hand. It's definitely a tight fit, but you can do it, and it's going to be okay. What he is going to be able to hold a lot easier is going to be the katanas from the One Piece Zoro SH Figure Arts figure. Alright, so what are my final thoughts on this Deathstroke figure? It's definitely a good pickup if you are looking for a Deathstroke figure that's not a McFarlane Toys. If you want a good DC 6-inch scale Deathstroke, then yes, this is going to be a good one to buy. If you can handle the way Revoltech is, then you'll enjoy it. I found plenty enjoyment out of this guy, despite it being my first Revoltech figure that is designed like this. Of course, I do have this one, but this one's a lot simpler in design, articulation, and everything like that. So, like, the double jointed knees and the regular style single jointed elbows and everything. So all of that stuff is definitely way different than what you're going to get here, but he poses really well, and he does a great job at looking cool, feeling cool, and not a lot of, displeasure, just kind of trying to handle it, and there's not a lot of annoyance with it like some Revoltech figures in the past. So yeah, definitely not a bad pickup. I'm going to give this figure an 8.5 out of 10. There's some things that are lacking, but it's definitely not bad at all. It's not something that should shy you away from it if you can just look past those tiny little things that are like, okay, a figure company is always going to have its flaws. But yeah, this is definitely a good figure. It scales really well. It looks really good. It poses great. And yeah, it did a good job with the accessories and with what it was trying to do. So yeah, 8.5. This figure's great. I really do like it a lot, but it is a $100 figure, so I am going to have to give it a little less leniency. But that's just me being a harsher critic, so that way you guys can truly buy what you want, so that I can give you the truth. So yeah, that's going to be it, and thank you guys so much for watching. If you've enjoyed, please give this video a like, and if you're new, subscribe and turn on notifications so that I can give you the truth on the next figure. Thank you guys so much again. Spread peace, love, and please be greater together. Bye.